Her best friend said I wasn't good enough for her. So I agreed, walked away, and let her discover what too good looks like when the lights go out and the bills come in. When people say success changes a relationship, they're usually talking about money, ego, or attention. But in my case, it wasn't success that changed it. It was the moment I finally saw what my success revealed about the people around me. For context, I, 33M, had been with my girlfriend, Lila, 29F, for almost 4 years. We met when I was just starting out in my career, a mid-level analyst at a corporate firm, and she was a freelance designer with a huge social media presence. Lila was beautiful, charming, and knew how to draw attention to herself. She made every room brighter, and when she chose to date me, people often commented on how lucky I was. And honestly, at the time, I agreed. But what most people didn't see was how often Lila subtly reminded me that she was the better half. It was never directly cruel, more like small comments that chipped away at my confidence. You wouldn't understand. It's more of a creative thing. It's fine, babe. You're just not good at social settings like me. You're so serious all the time. People like when someone lightens the mood. Still, I brushed it off. I loved her, and I thought once I reached my career goals, the imbalance would fade. Last month, I finally got the promotion I'd been working toward for 6 years, Director of Operations. My salary jumped significantly, and my company threw a private dinner party to celebrate. I was proud, excited, and genuinely wanted Lila to share the moment with me. The restaurant was perfect, low lighting, jazz playing softly, about 30 people from work and a few close friends and family. Lila wore a dress that made everyone turn their heads when she entered. I was nervous, hoping she'd be proud of me. But the moment I saw her, she already had that familiar smirk, the one she wore when she felt superior. During dinner, my boss gave a short speech congratulating me. He mentioned how hard I'd worked and how my calm leadership had earned everyone's respect. People clapped, toasted, and laughed. It was the kind of moment you wait years for. Then, from the far end of the table, Lila's best friend Chloe raised her glass and said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "Let's be honest, though. We all know Lila's way too good for him. He's lucky she hasn't realized it yet." The room went silent for half a second before awkward laughter followed. My coworkers exchanged glances. My parents froze. I just sat there, smiling tightly, my chest tightening with a mix of humiliation and disbelief. Lila didn't defend me. She giggled, actually giggled, and said, "Oh my God, Chloe, stop. You're terrible." But she didn't look at me. She didn't even reach for my hand. In that moment, something inside me just flipped. It wasn't anger, not yet. It was clarity. Like someone turned on the lights in a room I'd been pretending was beautiful, but was actually filled with cracks. I smiled, nodded, and said calmly, "You're right." The table went quiet again. Lila blinked, confused, and Chloe gave a half smile, thinking I was joking. But I wasn't. I stood up, adjusted my jacket, raised my glass, and said, "Thank you all for coming tonight. I really appreciate everyone who supported me, truly." Then I looked at Lila and added, "Some of you just reminded me how much I've grown." Then I walked out. I didn't make a scene. I didn't yell. I didn't even take my coat. I just left, leaving the sound of muffled whispers and Lila's voice calling after me. That night, I checked into a quiet hotel near the water. I turned my phone off and just sat there for hours, replaying the scene in my head. Every moment of that relationship suddenly looked different. All the little jabs, all the jokes at my expense, all the time she wanted me to prove I was good enough. And that's when I realized something important. Lila had never loved me. She loved the image of being admired, the attention she got from being the one who could have done better. So I decided to show her what it looked like when I actually stopped trying to prove anything. By morning, my decision was made. I called my financial advisor. I called my realtor. And I started quietly, methodically, pulling back everything I'd built around her. The apartment lease, under my name. The car she drove, financed by me. The credit cards she used, tied to my account. Even her business website, hosted on my server subscription, which I'd paid for years. No confrontation. No argument. Just quiet detachment. When she woke up that morning, I imagined she still believed she'd get an apology text, some weak attempt to fix things. Instead, she got silence. And silence, I realized, was the one thing she didn't know how to handle. Because for people like Lila, silence isn't peace. It's exposure. And soon, she'd learned that the man she thought was beneath her was the one who'd built the floor she'd been standing on. When I walked out of that restaurant, I didn't realize how quiet power could feel. No shouting, no arguments, no emotional explosions, just control. Cold, steady control. I spent the next few days completely off the grid. I didn't respond to texts, calls, or the 50 missed FaceTimes from Lila. She even tried calling my office, but I'd already emailed HR, informing them that any personal disturbances were to be redirected immediately. My assistant, bless her, handled it professionally. By the fourth day, Lila left a voicemail that sounded different. Her voice wasn't angry anymore. It was small. "Babe, can we please talk? Chloe was just drunk. I didn't mean for that to happen. You know I love you, right?" I didn't respond. Instead, I logged into our shared accounts. Or rather, my accounts. She just had access. I'd always trusted her enough to let her use one of my cards for emergencies. Somehow, those emergencies often included spa visits, luxury candles, and $300 brunches. That morning, I canceled her card. Then I changed the passwords to every account she could reach: streaming services, cloud storage, even the grocery deliveries she used when she was too busy to cook. Next came the apartment. I called the landlord, explained that I'd be terminating the lease early. The place had been under my name for 2 years. Lila had never signed anything. He said, "Of course, Mr. Bennett. Just give us 30 days notice." Perfect. I spent that weekend moving my things out while she was staying with her friend. She still believed we were taking space. That was fine. I wanted her to think that. I left just enough of my stuff to make it seem like I'd be back. A few shirts, a watch box, even my old sneakers by the door. But everything that mattered, documents, electronics, sentimental items, was gone. On Sunday night, I turned off the utilities and transferred all the bills to her name. I even left a note on the counter that said, "You wanted control. Now you have it. Enjoy the responsibility that comes with it." Then I locked the door and left the keys in the mailbox. By Monday morning, my new condo was set up. It wasn't flashy, just modern, minimal, and quiet. Peaceful. For the first time in years, I felt what it was like to breathe without tension. But of course, peace doesn't last when chaos realizes it's losing power. At 8:42 a.m., my phone buzzed with a message from Lila. "What the hell is going on? My card isn't working. The landlord said the lease is under review. Did you do something?" I didn't reply. By noon, she sent another. "You can't just walk away from me like this. You owe me an explanation." At 4 p.m., "Everyone at the restaurant is talking about you. You embarrassed me in front of my friends." I almost laughed. In front of her friends. Not, "You embarrassed yourself." Not, "I'm sorry." Always deflection. Always projection. That night, she showed up at my office building. She waited by the lobby desk, trying to charm the receptionist into letting her up. Fortunately, the receptionist, a very no-nonsense woman named Tanya, simply said, "I'm sorry, but Mr. Bennett is unavailable." When Tanya told me later, I smiled and said, "If she comes again, tell her I'm in a meeting that lasts forever." The next day, the unraveling began publicly. See, Lila's entire image revolved around being this effortlessly elegant, successful, independent woman. She constantly posted pictures from fancy brunches, collabs, and aesthetic shots of the apartment, the one she told her followers she paid for. So when the electricity got shut off, the internet went dark, and she couldn't pay her portion of rent. Her perfect life began to crumble in real time. Her followers noticed. Comments started appearing. "Wait, didn't you just post about your dream apartment? Why are you moving? Is everything okay? Why'd you delete all your couple pics?" And the best one, "Girl, your man just got promoted. You messed up big time." I didn't comment. I didn't like any posts. I just watched the dominoes fall. A week later, Chloe, the same best friend who'd embarrassed me at dinner, reached out to me through LinkedIn of all places. The message was short. "Hey, I just wanted to apologize for that night. I didn't realize it would blow up like that. Lila's been having a hard time. Maybe you could talk to her." I stared at it for a minute before typing back. "Apology accepted. Tell her I'm proud she's finally realizing actions have consequences." Then I blocked Chloe too. By the end of the month, Lila's career, her influencer lifestyle, had flatlined. Brands she'd collaborated with dropped her. Her posts got flooded with sarcastic comments from people who'd seen through the illusion. And then came the message that almost made me feel bad. Almost. I get it. I hurt you. But you didn't have to destroy me. You could have just left. I replied with one line. I did just leave. You destroyed yourself. After that, silence again. But life had a way of circling back, and karma always sends updates. Because 2 months later, Lila showed up at my new office building, not storming in this time, but waiting quietly in the lobby, holding a small box. When I walked down, she looked different. No makeup, eyes tired, voice soft. She handed me the box and said, "These are your things." I didn't want to throw them away. Inside were my old cufflinks, a tie clip she'd given me, and a few photos. For a moment, I almost felt something. Nostalgia, maybe. But then she said quietly, "I didn't realize how much I depended on you until you were gone." I just nodded and said, "That's the thing about depending on someone. You either respect it or you lose it." Then I walked back upstairs, leaving her in the lobby. That night, I thought about everything. How I'd loved someone who saw me as a project, not a partner. And how, in the end, her biggest mistake wasn't humiliating me. It was believing that I wouldn't eventually notice my own worth. Because once I did, I didn't need revenge. Just absence. And absence, I'd learned, can be louder than any speech, post, or apology. Update 1.it had been 3 quiet months. I'd moved on genuinely. Work was smooth. I'd started seeing someone new, Sophie, an architect with zero interest in social media. And for the first time in years, life felt peaceful. Then one morning, my phone started lighting up. At first, I thought it was spam. But when I opened Instagram, I saw the reason. Lila had posted something new. A long, emotional video titled, "My Truth, the Cost of Loving the Wrong Person." Yeah, that kind of video. She was sitting on a couch, makeup subtly natural, light perfect, tone soft, the same rehearsed vulnerability influencers specialize in. She started with, "I've been quiet for a while because I've been healing. Sometimes people pretend to be perfect, and when you see through their mask, they punish you for it. That's what happened to me." I almost laughed. She was good. I'll give her that. She didn't say my name, but everything was implied. She spoke about control, manipulation, and financial abuse. Then she wiped a single tear and said, "If you've ever loved someone who used money to make you feel small, you're not alone." The comments were full of support. "So brave. You don't owe anyone your silence. We love you, Queen." And then, people who actually knew us started commenting. Chloe wrote, "Lila, maybe don't rewrite history. You told everyone you were living rent-free." Her old coworker added, "Didn't he pay your tuition when you got fired?" Just saying. Then someone else, a girl who'd gone to brunch with her often, dropped the hammer. "You literally laughed about maxing his card once. Own your mistakes." The tone of the comments shifted fast. Support turned to confusion, then criticism, then mockery. Within hours, Lila turned off the comments section. But it didn't stop there. Someone on Reddit made a thread titled, "Influencer Claims Financial Abuse, but Her Ex Paid for Everything. Receipts Inside." And oh, the internet did its thing. Screenshots of old posts, tagged photos, even a leaked message where she bragged to a friend, "He'll never leave. I've got him wrapped." That line alone made it to the top of the thread. By the end of the week, Lila's truth had backfired spectacularly. She lost nearly 30,000 followers, 2 sponsorships pulled out, and her apology story, "A week, I just needed to express my feelings," didn't help. Meanwhile, Sophie and I were having dinner when my coworker leaned over and said, "Dude, that video about you? It's trending. You okay?" Sophie looked at me calmly and asked, "That your ex?" "Yeah," I said. "That's her." She smiled slightly. "You don't seem bothered." "I'm not," I replied. "She's just proving my point." And truly, I wasn't. But karma wasn't done yet. A week later, Lila's healing video was taken down. Word spread that one of her ex-sponsors demanded repayment for a campaign they canceled after her controversy. Then came the part one didn't expect, a text. "I know you've seen everything. I didn't mean for it to go this far. Can we just talk? Please." I didn't answer. 2 days later. "You win, okay? You always have to win. I just want to fix this." Still nothing. Then one final message. "You ruined my life. I hope you're happy." I almost typed, "No, you did that yourself." But instead, I just deleted the thread and blocked her number again. Because at that point, there was nothing left to say. Some people only understand peace when chaos stops responding. But the story didn't truly end there. Because about a month later, I got an email from HR. Subject line, visitor request. Attached was a scanned letter, handwritten. From Lila. Final update. The email from HR hit my inbox late Thursday afternoon. I almost ignored it until I saw the scanned attachment. A handwritten letter, scanned by the receptionist. The note at the top read, "She said she just wants you to read this. No drama. No contact, just this." The handwriting was instantly familiar. Lila's looping script, half cursive, half chaos. I hesitated for a second, then opened the scan. "Daniel, I know I don't deserve your time, but please let me explain. Everything has fallen apart. The brand deals, the apartment, the people I thought were my friends, all gone. You were right about them, and I hate that you were right. They love the image, not the person. I've been sleeping at my cousin's for 2 weeks. I can't find a new place because everyone online knows my name now, and every landlord Googles me. I'm not asking for money or forgiveness. I just want you to know I finally see what I did to you. You were calm, kind, and I mistook that for weakness. I called it boring when it was the only real stability I ever had. You didn't ruin me, I did. But if you ever decide to talk, I'll be here. Not to ask anything, just to say sorry in person. Lila." I stared at the letter for a long time. The handwriting trembled in places. The ink looked smudged, maybe from tears, maybe from the cheap pen. HR had added another note below. She asked if she could drop it off herself. We told her we'd forward it to you instead. She seemed different. Tired. Different. That word stuck in my head all evening. Later that night, I told Sophie about it. She just listened quietly as I read the letter out loud. When I finished, she leaned back and said, "So what are you going to do?" I exhaled slowly. "Nothing, I guess. I've already moved on." Sophie nodded, thoughtful. Closure doesn't always mean confrontation. Sometimes it's just understanding it's done. She was right, but a small, stubborn part of me wanted to see for myself if Lila's different was real or just another act. The next morning, curiosity won. I texted Lila, "Got your letter. Meet me at the cafe on 6th, tomorrow at 2. 1 hour. No scenes." Her reply came 10 seconds later. "Thank you. I promise, no drama." When she walked in, it was strange. The woman who used to take 45 minutes perfecting her look showed up in a simple hoodie and jeans. No lashes, no perfume cloud, no performance. Just Lila, smaller, quieter, raw. "Hey," she said softly, almost afraid. I nodded. "Hey." She sat across from me, clutching her coffee like it might keep her steady. "I don't expect you to believe anything I say," she started, "but I meant every word in that letter." I didn't interrupt. She went on, her voice shaky but real. "I thought I was winning. The followers, the attention. I thought that was control. But when you stopped reacting, when you stopped giving me something to push against, it all fell apart." She gave a weak laugh. "You'd be surprised how fast the world turns on you when you stop being shiny." For a moment, I saw it. Not the manipulative version of her, but the exhausted, broken one. The one who finally understood the cost of pretending. "Lila," I said quietly, "I don't hate you. I just don't trust you. And that's not something I can rebuild." She nodded, tears brimming. "I know. You were the only one who didn't want something from me. And I punished you for it." We sat in silence for a while. The cafe buzzed softly around us. The clatter of cups, low chatter, normal life continuing. When she finally stood up to leave, she said something that stuck with me. "You know what hurts the most? Seeing you happy and realizing I could have had that too. But I was too proud to choose peace." I didn't know what to say, so I just nodded. She gave a faint, sad smile, turned, and walked out the door. That was the last time I saw her. A week later, I got a message from a mutual acquaintance. Lila had deleted all her social media. Gone. No posts, no videos, no goodbye statement. She'd taken a regular job at a local boutique, apparently rebuilding her life from scratch. Quietly and honestly, I respected that. Not because I wanted her back, but because, for the first time, she was finally being real. Sophie and I kept growing closer. She knew about my past, and she never used it against me. One evening, while we were cooking dinner together, Sophie said, "You know, sometimes closure isn't what you get from them. It's what you give yourself." I smiled. "Yeah, I think I finally got mine." Months later, I found Lila's letter again, tucked between some old work files. I almost threw it away, but something stopped me. Instead, I folded it neatly and put it in a drawer. Not as a reminder of pain, but of growth. Because sometimes, the people who break us are the ones who accidentally teach us exactly how to stay whole.